When I started seeing these guys on YouTube pop up with the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff, and I learned about trading and realized that most of the guys on Instagram or YouTube were just posting to get affiliate links and stuff. There's a lot of work behind trading. It's not the lifestyle that you get, at least not from the beginning. I hate normal jobs and I actually hate school.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew that I had to make this trading stuff work, or at least something else where I could be my own boss. At the moment, I only have 100K actually, currently in a phase 2 with a 200K challenge as well.
Okay, cool.
I definitely have a big goal for next year with funding. I want to be funded with 1 million.
You are what we can call consistently profitable. Are you okay to show us a little bit of your trading?
Yeah.
Maybe show us a particular setup. Right, so for everyone at home, do you want to just give a quick introduction to who you are, where you're from, and how you got into trading?
Yeah, my name is Gabriel. I started trading probably like 3 years ago now. Yeah, I've just been learning for the past 2 years, and I only recently got profitable. I think it was in March this year.
Okay.
And since then, I've become funded and had 3 payouts.
Love that. So how did you learn about trading? Like, what was your first introduction into the whole trading space?
I think it was when I was in high school. I wanted to know how I could make money off the internet, and the first thing that I came to was just doing surveys, and that was for like $2 each time and just too time consuming. And that's when I started seeing these guys on YouTube pop up with the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff, and I learned about trading and definitely wanted to get into that.
Okay, so you came into it as most of us do, seeing the lifestyle, seeing the money.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing you quickly realised that it's not actually, that's not what it's all about.
Yep. Yeah, I realized that most of the guys on Instagram or YouTube were just posting to get affiliate links and stuff. There's a lot of work behind trading. It's not the lifestyle that you get, at least not from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So where did you go to first initially learn?
The first guy that I learned from was from Daniel Savage,
Okay.
because he just seemed experienced to me, and I bought his course, and it was just not what I expected. So yeah, that was a bump on the road.
Yeah. Where did you go from there? Where did you actually like start to find your feet with trading and having some kind of education?
Well, that was actually when I just started watching YouTube videos and free stuff, stopped buying courses, and just tried using the same
Okay.
strategy. And yeah, since then I've been progressing slowly, and yeah, just learning and using the same stuff all the time.
Okay. So you say that you've been profitable since March.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So is there, this might be a bit too of an early question, but was there any point in your career so far that you can look on as like a pivotal moment that kind of significantly shaped your experience of trading? So something that, some significant moment that shaped how you approach trading.
Oh yeah. So this year I went to the US with my family,
Okay.
and before I went, I actually bought this book, Trading in the Zone.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just reading it every time I had time in the US and while I was trading my personal account. And it really just taught me how to be a mechanical trader and not have your feelings involved too much. And yeah, I slowly started seeing profits, and I thought to myself, fuck it, why not take a funding challenge? And I just did it. Started
Right.
executing.
Okay, cool. So was that kind of like, was it almost like you went to the US and you kind of thought, you kind of realized that, okay, trading can actually provide me the freedom to do this and still get paid at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. And we was in what's it called again? Miami. And
Okay.
that's like my dream place.
Lifestyle Central.
Yeah, exactly. And I really want to get to live there in the future.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to put in work.
Okay. I love that. What was that experience like being in Miami and like seeing all of that?
Uh, Fantastic. I really want to go back. I saw so many cool cars. I saw um, cars with, what is it called? The number plate where they had GBP, JPY or something written
No
like that.
way.
Yeah, US 30. It was just so cool. I felt at home.
That is so cool. You know what? That's something that I really want. I want to have like USD or JPY on my number plate.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's so cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool that you obviously you saw that firsthand, and I bet that was so motivational as well.
Very motivational. Yeah, that's where I want to get eventually, like have the cool cars and stuff. And they'll definitely come down the road.
Okay, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about your background. Do you have any background in like education or working? Like what kind of background do you come from?
Well, my biggest motivation must be that I hate normal jobs and I actually hate school.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew that I had to make this trading stuff work, or at least something else where I could be my own boss. So that's definitely something that's been pushing me towards where I am now. I don't
Mhm.
want to be average, or what you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So talk to me about childhood. Have you always been like this? Like, have you always been knew that I'm not going to work for someone else? Like, I want to be my own boss. Have you always had that kind of mindset?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, it was more like I want to be a football player, I want to be a boxer, but always be like my own guy. Don't be too
Mhm.
dependent on someone else or a boss. But yeah, I've always had these wild dreams and big achievements I want to accomplish.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. It seems like a common theme of majority of the traders that I speak to be honest. We're all kind of on this same journey of we've grown up and always known that we wanted more from life and never really wanted to work for someone else and kind of rebelled against the system, so to speak. It seems like like I said, the majority of traders that I speak to, we all have that same kind of background.
Hmm.
So
Definitely.
yeah, it's really interesting actually that we all kind of fall into the trading space of we just work for ourselves, do what we want when we want, and still get paid for it.
Yeah, the good life.
It's amazing. Um, so is there any aspect of trading? Obviously, you say you've only been profitable since March, so again, this might be early, but is there any aspect of trading that you still kind of struggle with a little bit?
Um, so yeah, actually, I think it was last month. My trading strategy had been going so well. I had a 80% win rate, maybe 85. I actually only had two losses out of, yeah,
Wow.
11 trades or some shit. Um, and that's when I started losing a bit. And that hit me, yeah, that hit me a little because I was not used to losing, especially not on my funded account.
Hmm.
But I'm learning to cope with it and just keep going.
Hmm. Okay, that's good. Is there any advice that you could give to someone else who might be struggling with the same kind of thing?
Just notice that there's light down the road and light down the tunnel. My bad.
Hmm.
And eventually you'll start winning again because you've tested your strategy. You know how it performs. And on average, if you have 80% win rate through back testing, you should be
Hmm.
winning 80% of the time. And each loss is just closer to another win.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Is there anything that you could say to someone who, let's say someone comes to you and says like, look, I'm really struggling, like my back testing strategy is working, but implementing that into live markets, it doesn't seem to be working. And from my perspective, I would say that that is something psychological based as to why they can't implement those same results, obviously on a live account. What would you say to someone that like is going through that now?
Well, so I've actually had some people ask me it on Instagram, and I always tell them just to make a little live account, maybe just $10 or $100,
Hmm.
and that way just like get all the psychological. My English is bad sometimes.
Hmm.
Psychological stuff from trading, and just really try to use it in a live market before you go to a big account or put all your money into trading.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. So moving on to your trading a little bit, are you okay to show us a little bit of your trading?
Yeah,
Maybe show us a particular setup.
yeah, I can show one.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so I actually have two setups that I can show. This is the one I took yesterday,
Hmm.
which was a winning setup. So what I do every time I come to the market like 10 minutes before New York session,
Hmm.
um, and I use the divergence tool and yeah, just some lines and stuff, very basic. So 10 minutes before, let me see right here where we are in the market. Okay, let me just put one candle back. So what I do when I come to the market is it's 7:50 New York time.
Hmm.
I mark out the nearest high and the nearest low with some liquidity sitting around it. And then I look at the divergence tool and I want to see a low being taken here and then a high not being broken down here.
Okay.
So we have this divergence going. And I can see we've been trending upwards and now we are going downwards again on the DXY. So yeah, we had this low taken out and that low would have been this high on the DXY. And eventually that was actually broken, as you can see right here. So this would have been an invalid trade.
Mm-hmm.
But because we also had this low over here been taken out, and this is not being disrespected on the DXY, we can trade this.
Okay.
And that's when I'll wait for my candle confirmation, which is just, let me just pull this down a bit. Which is really just to see a candle in the opposite direction getting broken.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. And right there, that's where I would have taken my entry, and I did take my entry yesterday.
Okay.
I always place a 11 pip stop loss because that's just what I've found to be the best amount of pips.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to be
Very
mechanical.
specific.
Yeah, I like to be very mechanical. I always use the same stop loss and same TP. So yeah, I always go for a 1 to 3.
Okay.
And as soon as it reaches a 1 to 2, that's when I move my stops to break even.
Okay.
And I'll take 50% off and then just let it run for 1 to 3 and maybe even more if I feel like it.
Okay.
And yeah, it ran for a good amount.
Cool.
And this was also a setup from Friday. Same thing. If we go back again, it's around here. Oh, yeah. So we had this low and this high, which I had marked out. Surprised when I took this out, and I don't know what I've marked down here. Looks a bit rubbish right now, but yeah, same thing. I looked at a DXY and I saw a candle being broken to the upside right here. So I entered, I went for 33 pip TP and just watched it fly.
Lovely.
Yep.
Lovely. Minimal drawdown as well.
Yeah. It always goes in your direction or it just goes straight to stop loss.
Okay. Do you trade any particular sessions, or is it just when the trade appears you'll take it?
I only trade New York session. I meet 10 minutes before, so
Okay.
yeah, 7:50. That's when I'll look to find some trades, and yeah, only New York session.
Okay. Okay, cool. I think your strategy is so simple.
Yeah, I like to keep it very basic because obviously when I first started out trading, we had all of these indicators and lines just crossing each other, and I didn't like that, so I had to find something simple and something that I could apply a mechanical mindset to.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I actually built this myself. This is something that I've come to myself.
Okay, cool. I like that. For to say that you've only been trading for such a short amount of time as well, to have kind of figured out your own strategy already, I think that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. That takes most people a few years to build. Most people come into this industry and they kind of follow someone else's strategy and then kind of modify that. But to have like figured out something on your own, yeah, I think that's amazing for the short space that you have been trading.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you tend to avoid when trading? So when it comes to, let's say, news, for example, do you trade news? Do you keep your trade running in news, or would you close before news?
Well, so if my trade is around break even when I enter, and it's like already been in profit, that's when I look to close, because that just shows me that maybe the market even wants to push further down or further up, depending on if I'm shorting or buying. But if I see a trade set up along with news, I'll just enter it. Just be ice cold, get in.
Okay.
Because volume is just a very good thing. I like volume and I like to trade with volume.
Yeah, I love that. So news doesn't scare you away too much.
Nah, I've been through it all. But I like trading news.
Okay. Yeah, I have a very love-hate relationship with news. I think if you're in a trade, you're following the trend, and then news comes and it just continues the trend, which 9 times out of 10 it does, and it's great. but you will have those moments where it will spike in complete opposite direction before actually making its move. And those are the ones that I still have a little bit of PTSD from. So when it comes to news, it depends what it is that's actually coming out. If it's CPI, for example, I am staying away.
Yeah, because those spikes are definitely the ones that blow accounts and that
Yeah.
we hear a lot about, like, don't blow your account.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've not experienced those yet, but the way that I'm trading, I'm probably gonna experience it sometime. So
Yeah, just make sure that you've got a stop loss and you'll be fine.
yeah, exactly. Just yeah, protect your capital and you're good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you only trade GBP USD?
I've always only traded US30 and SPX, but
Okay.
because recently the markets have been acting very differently, I had to find out something new because I
Okay.
wasn't getting any setups, and the setups that I would get was just losers.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to keep doing it because I could definitely see a pattern. If I keep doing this, I'm just going to lose all my capital.
Okay.
And that's when I built this new strategy. And it actually only applies for GU, but it can be used for something else. So USD pairs. And yeah, I've only been trading GU for the past while actually now.
Okay. Okay. It's different that you've come from trading indices now to Forex. Usually people trade Forex and they think maybe there's not enough liquidity, so they'll look at like US13 SPX for maybe like a little bit more adrenaline, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, for example, I've only ever traded US30 once, and I will never trade it again. I feel safe with Forex, but when it comes to indices, I have this like fear.
Yeah, because everything can just go so fast. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot more volume going on in there, and yeah, it is very, very dangerous actually to trade US30 and SPX, and in general
Mm-hmm.
just indices. And for new traders, I don't recommend it really too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what I say. Like it's different hearing that like that's kind of where you started. So talking a little bit about your funding journey, how did you get into funded trading?
So I actually started off with some other firms. I had one firm that I tried out some years ago, and they actually shut down now. I tried taking a 10K challenge, and I quickly realized I ain't built for this yet. I need to wait a bit. And yeah, then like 1.5 years later, that's when I was in the US, and I felt really confident. And my friend just told me about this company, Bespoke Funding. They're very good, and I thought, I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna go with them. And yeah, that's where I've been since, and I've just been trading Bespoke Funding actually.
Okay, so you're only funded with us at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay, cool. So how many payouts have you had with us?
I've had 3 payouts so far.
Okay, cool. Is that on the same account or is that with new accounts?
That's with the same account.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So you are what we can call consistently profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a huge phenomenon with people. They'll get their challenge, pass verification, then they'll get the account, maybe get one payout, and then maybe get a little bit too confident, and then the next month the account is gone. And that seems to be a common theme within the funding space. So it's nice to hear that you have had several payouts from the same account.
Yeah, because yeah, most new traders, they actually, yeah, they go in, get funded, they have their first payout, and they tell themselves, oh yeah, I'm gonna run this up, and then they just completely blow the account.
Absolutely. Literally that is what funded trading has become.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Do you mind telling us how much you have in funding with us at the moment?
At the moment, I only have 100K actually.
Okay.
But I'm currently in a phase 2 with a 200K challenge as well.
Okay, cool.
And I definitely have a big goal for next year with funding. I want to be funded with 1 million, but it's gonna take some time. There's still some work to do.
Some tweaking a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is your plan? Like, are you just trying to now focus on building up bigger capital, or are you more focused on getting payouts?
I'm actually focused on getting a lot of payouts so that I can fund my own personal account,
Okay.
and that way also make it risk-free because every time you pass a funding challenge, you get some money back.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just profit really. And I think you should use that to fund your own account. And yeah, keep going from there.
What's your take on funding versus personal accounts?
Yeah, so I like the part that when you're funded, it's not your own capital that you're trading, and you're not really responsible for too much with the losses and stuff. But yeah, if you trade your personal, you're responsible for all the losses. You need to fund it back, put money in again if you lose. Yeah, I'd say for new traders, if you know a bit, if you got an edge, then go for a funded, because if you trade your personal, you could potentially lose all your money that you've saved up to start trading.
Yeah, absolutely. I would always say the same kind of thing. So I kind of stray away from trading personal now. That's kind of how I came into the space. All I knew was personal funds. I think prop trading only really came about around 4 years ago for me. So when I started, it was just all personal funding. But now I kind of try to stray away from that, because obviously when you're trading personal funds, it is obviously a lot riskier than when you're trading prop funds. Once you've got your account, once you've got a payout and your refund, you are literally risk free. Whereas if you're putting all of your money into a personal account, you can mess that up in one day. If your mindset's not there on one particular day that you're trading, you could literally lose it all. So I tend to focus more on funded trading now as opposed to personal.
Yeah, and funders definitely teach you how to manage risk too.
Absolutely.
That's a good tool to have already from the very early times of your journey. So
yeah,
it really helps with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has your experience been like with Bespoke in particular?
I think it's all been good actually. My payouts, they always come on time. When I need help from the support, I just contact them. They respond straight away. So there's been no issues. I'm actually very happy that I'm with you guys, instead of some other firms, because some of them can be shady, but
yeah. Yeah, they definitely can. And I think, to be honest, I think all of the prop firms have had some kind of heat around something. But it's always nice to speak to people that are getting payouts. And yeah, but like funding isn't a scam, it is real. You just have to be careful with which company that you go with.
Yeah, indeed. Because there's a lot of weird companies out there, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry right now, actually. So yeah, take care.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely take care. So, coming towards the end of the interview now, we have a little theme where we have a question for the guest that is asked from the previous guest. So, your question is from my last guest, David. And your question is, if you could choose only one time frame to trade from, what would it be?
I think it would be the 5 minute. I really like the 5 minute.
Really?
Yeah. I went from doing like 45-minute, 4 hour and stuff like that to strictly just using the 5 minute, and I've had the highest win rate since I did that actually. And
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. See, I'm the opposite. So I started on higher time frames. I always used to think 5 minute and 1 minute, like that's just something that you like, why would you even look at that? But then I slowly transitioned into trading predominantly the 5 minute and the 1 minute, specifically getting my entries on the 1 minute. And that worked great for a while. But now I'm transitioning more to swing trading. So I'm looking at more of like 1 hour, 4 hour and daily charts. So it's interesting to hear that you've found obviously your success and what works for you on the 5 minute chart, which is something that I've kind of stepped away from.
Yeah. I don't know what to
It
say.
just goes to show like everyone is different. Literally every single trader, your strategy is always a little bit different. What you like to trade is different. Time frames are different. It's all dependent on you.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody like builds their own way of trading, and they like find out what's best for them, and you can really be profitable with any time frame, with any strategy and stuff. As long as it's something you understand, you're gonna come a long way.
Absolutely, I agree. So, what is your question for the next guest? Well, thank you very much for joining me today and telling your story. like I said, your strategy is super, super simple. So I think that might be the main part that people can take from this, in just understanding how important it is to have a simple system that not only you can follow, but you can also explain to someone. I think that is the key in having that great strategy and that edge. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I can't wait to see what you do next year and how much you have in funding by the end of next year.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here today. It's been a very good talk, and yeah, it's been very nice to talk, and probably also help some people that's gonna see this. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, no problem at all. So again, thank you for coming on, and for everyone watching at home, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And if you finish watching this and you want to hear about someone else's story, then head to our YouTube channel, and all of our interviews are on there to watch. So thank you guys, and we will be back again very soon.